కాదండి అంటే నేను అంత వద్దులే అని నేను తీసే పైప్ స్పీకర్
and the oil bonds which are issued to the oil companies, they don't get into, but they do have an impact on the market forces. And our Prime Minister has made an announcement yesterday that he won't allow the financial conditions of the oil companies to deteriorate. And that's what we have been saying as a member of the task force of MOU of oil sector enterprises. I have been telling that for the last 6 years. We have met the Finance Secretary, we have met the Finance Minister, we have met the Petroleum Secretary, and we had a meeting only last week. Dr. Balyan was sure enough to escape because we wanted to surround him, and Mr. Sharma was there, and there we decided that something should be done to bring the oil companies out of this morass. And on this note, I once again welcome you. This is your own institute. Let me also tell you, when I say this is your own institute, this belongs in a great measure to ONGC, and therefore if we have to have any meetings in future, we have not to go anywhere else. We have to come to IB. We have an excellent infrastructure. We are number 10th in the country in terms of intellectual capital. We are number 6th in the country in terms of rating in public schools. And very soon we are going to start a one-year MBA program with the United Nations and European Commission at IB, and that will be only for the activities of public sector enterprises and also for private sector enterprises. We had a professor from UN visiting the institute only 4 days back, and we are very likely to meet you with the appointment, because professor and UN expert will be visiting the institute sometime in the month of June. We will call on you and have your guidance. But before, friends, we request Dr. Balyan to speak on this very, very important topic, because not that we are discussing it for the first time. Professor Paranipet did a work in 1958, and I am sure that I think you would be able to recall, and he captioned that work as flight of personnel from public sector. So this problem is there not only today, this problem is there for the last several years. Unfortunately, we have not taken sufficient measures. And we also say at times that public sector is the training ground for private sector personnel. But that apart, I am sure that we have to take, I think, certain measures which can keep the motive to the employees within, I think, the public sector. They should not be going away to private sector just because remuneration is not effective, there is no job rotation, that there is no sufficient delegation and decentralization. We miss on the systems of performance appraisal, and as somebody rightly told, there is not a good communication system within the enterprise, because people at the top and people at below, in very gigantic enterprise like ONGC and SAFE, or for that purpose you can take Ambani, it's very difficult to communicate. Though we often say that communication is something which is very important, but everybody is not Gandhi who could communicate without, I think, email. He talked of email, could communicate without that. There are problems, and those times are also changed. But that apart, I think it has emerged as a very crucial problem. We have to do something which can help public sector people continue within the public sector. There are a number of schemes, and at this institute, we have been giving our mind to this problem for the last 1 year. We are the major consultants to the Government of India on pay revision, second pay committee. We have done work up to December, and now the report is getting processed and finalized. We will have the final meeting of the committee on 26th at the institute, where Mr. M.J. Rao, the former Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, who is chairing the commission there, Mr. Bhaskar and all the members will be at the institute. Very, very important problem, but at the same time very complex problem. And we have two distinguished persons here, Mr. Hanmantra and Mr. Shastri. They have set up, I think, enterprises after enterprises, not one or two. Mr. Shastri has recruited 20,000 people in the IT sector in India and abroad. I think there has been almost in all the corners of the world in getting the people and also returning. We have Mr. Hanmantra. But I am sure this talk should have come only from a person of the stature of Mr. Balyan, Dr. Balyan. Because he has been so deeply immersed in the problem that he has deep insights which I think can reveal to us the reasons and also the strategies which can help us in keeping them within the public sector. He has a very rich biodata, and I would like to speak because in our Shastra they always say that we should speak good things so that we become good. He is presently Director HR of the ONGC. His additional responsibilities are as Director in charge, Business Development and Joint Ventures, ONGC Director, Mangalore Refinery and Petrochemicals at Birla could not do much. Director ONGC Videsh Limited, Director Mangalore SEZ Limited, Director the Head Sales Limited, Director ONGC Tripura Power Company, Director OMP Limited. I don't know, sir, how to do several things. And that's one thing I think besides talent management should tell us, because in our own institute we do very trivial things and I'm not able to manage them so well as you have been able to do. His career assignments in exploration, he has been for 26 years. Successfully steered exploration and production operations in remote strike-prone areas of Nagaland. 94-96 as basin manager, he headed exploration and operations in Kolkata basin of ONGC. 98-2002 established gold bed methane exploration in the country. And this shows that he had some love for the east and supplying the that part of Hyderabad which is also in the east. So I think in human resource management, Dr. Balyan took over as Chief Human Resource Development of ONGC in 2002, was appointed to the Board of Directors of ONGC as Director HR in 2003, led corporate rejuvenation campaign, the change management initiative, pioneered a study to redefine the organization norms focusing on roster, roles and responsibilities to be benchmarked with global best practices. I think very, very important. I have seen number of people within the organization, they come and till they retire, they don't know for what they were recruited. Accepting at the advertisement which I think gave some information and they don't know what they are expected to do. So that I think speaks a lot I think about the corporation, about also about Dr. Balyan. Initiated efforts for career rationalization, dual career pathing, specialist and journalist, career track, multi-skilling and career growth and assessment development centers. Very important, I learned a bit from Shastri Garu on assessment centers here. Institutionalized a proactive corporate citizenship policy with focus on health care, education, entrepreneurship, digital relief, and water management, and that is in line with what is happening as a strategy of India's economic development. More we are going towards the social sector development. In the business development and joint ventures, he pioneered ONGC's entry into alternate energy sources like CBM, coal-bed methane. Very important that wind energy, promoted diversification into sectors such as LNG, petrochemicals, and steered mega C2, C3 petrochem SEZ power projects, and as director in charge, MRPL steered MRPL's remarkable turnaround from a sick company to an award-winning, most energy efficient, high performance and company which is doing very well in the cloth market. And let me also tell you, now we are in the era of CDM, Green Development Mechanism, and lot of trading is taking place in that. And I think ONGC, I understand, is branching in that area. And number of countries like US, they are going to make more money not through the treasury bank operations, but through the trading, I think, in gas emission. Professional associations, his national president, National Institute of Personal Management, 2006-8, and NIPM has taken a very big leap, I think, during this period. So many courses have come up, and NIPM has become an integral part of the public sector and private sector industry. Member Executive Committee of Standing Conference of Public Enterprises, member CIA National Committee on Population Health, member All India Board of Technical Education, New Delhi, 2006-2008, member Board of Governors of National Safety Council, member Governing Council of Kendriya Vidyalaya Santan, member Board of Studies, IMA, member Governing Board of Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Vice President, All India Public Sector Sports Promotion Board. Sir, I would request you to also ask in your office to include IP in that. Of course, they have related rewards and recognition. Exemplary Leader Award by Employer Branding Awards 2008, Fellow World Academy of Productivity Sciences 2007, Dr. P.N. Singh Foundation Award for Lifetime Achievement in HR 2007, Terry Corporate Award, Terry won this time Nobel Prize for Corporate Social Responsibility in 2005-06, and then Engineer of the Year Award of the Institution of Engineers in 2006, Golden Peacock Award for Corporate Social Responsibility 2004 and 2005, Golden Peacock Training Award 2006, with this IP was also assisted, MIT Best HR Head Award for the year 2005-2006, GSA Top Rankers Achievement Individual Excellence Award in 2005. I think, friends, I can go on speaking, but I know I think the time constant, not because we did. Dr. Balyan, was in the plane for 1 hour, so the plane took off late. And then on the way, I understand he was continuously being, tracked on mobile, and then he had this long talk. We are wanting to listen to him. So time is very precious. But sir, once again, I welcome you on behalf of the Board of Governors of the Institute. I contacted Professor Ramarao. He has been in the US on a very important assignment of the Government of India, 123 nuclear team, and he is a member of International Atomic Energy Commission, also the Atomic Energy Commission of India, and he has asked me in particular to convey his regards and also the regards of the Board of Governors of the Institute. And since I am a faculty member, and with my colleagues here, I convey the regards on behalf of the faculty and staff of the Institute. They have been waiting to receive you at the Institute for so many years, and I am grateful that you are here. And we look forward to your coming to the Institute again and again, so that this can become a premier institute in India and can bring glory to the country and to the education system. Thank you. Can I just to our esteemed
Institute, and we are quite aware of the human role being played by this Institute of Public Enterprises in various ways, and we appreciate it very much. As a government, we are also aware of the such a fine, important role that you play personally as a member of the task force, which sets the MOU targets for the oil sector companies, I would say, in the country. So we appreciate very much and thank you for fine words and also the invitation. And I really feel a sense of pride to be in the campus here and as also one of the members of the institute here. I'd like to also thank all my seniors, Shastriji, Mr. Rao, and other important people from the NIPM, leaders who have driven the institute so well in the difficult times, and I think their involvement is still required to really guide the younger generation to carry it forward further and to come. Friends, I'd like to speak on talent, and what I'll do is that I'll run through a presentation and then I'll perhaps have some time for interactions if you have any questions on that. And I have few slides which are of general nature and then some specific about the oil sector, some in fact figures also. And if you permit me, we'll go through the presentation and I'd like quickly to address it. Feel free to interrupt or ask any questions. You don't have to hesitate on that. So can I have? So it is agenda in two forms: two concepts on the management, talent management, and then specifically about the oil sector. Concepts. I try to put it in a very simple way that for any business to thrive, business to be successful, you have three components. And the components are the machines, the technology that one corporate or any organization uses. You need to also have the operating practices, the strategies, the systems, processes in place. But if you realize these two components in today's scenario, with the financial muscle of the country enhancing, access to the technology is very easy today. If you have a good sense of business, finance is not an issue and you can have access to the best of the technology in the world. You can also, once you get the technology, you also have access to the best practices that are used, proven systems, procedures, that also you can get it. Now if that is true, then every organization, every company should be able to perform top level. Why is it that even that, given that scenario that you have all the possibility of access to the best of technology and the work practices, organizations perform differently. Not only organizations, countries perform differently. It has hardly any natural resources, but has a booming economy. On the other hand, compared to Nigeria, which has perhaps all the thing given that we can ask for natural resources, but as an economy in shambles. I think the answer lies in this, is in the third component, that is the people. So if you have people and the right people, and that's how the talent comes in, right people is the talent, then you have everything in place, and this is the perhaps differentiating parameter today. Companies are now going to be differentiated in terms of people only, because they all have access to technology, all have access to everything. Finance is not an issue, so the competitiveness is so great that the differences are narrowing, and it is only left to the people, the talent in the company, in the organization, that will drive and differentiate in performances. And in coming time, perhaps it will be much more stronger. So if people and talent is the issue today for the success, for the performance, we better take note of that and do everything to look after the people. Next, please. Now, Bill Gates said that take my 20 best people, and overnight the company will become mediocre. He said on his practice what he experienced in that. So the 20 talented people need to be nurtured, need to be cared, need to be given that environment to work, grow and contribute. They need to be really given that freedom to work on that. So the talent is what you need to care, and that's very important. Next, everything. Then second is the skills. You need to have skills also. Without skills, I don't think it will work. So knowledge, skills, as well as the values, the will to do that, all that put together is what competence. A person can be very competent, but yet not committed. A non-committed person who is not contributing also is of not much of use to the organization. So when you talk about talent, you need to see that the person has the right knowledge base, has the skills that are required, and is also having that value that subscribes to that organization, and with the use of these is able to contribute for the organization and not for the self only. With the same commitment, that all together can be described as talent. And that's why we need to really be conscious that in our organization, you may have 1,000 people, but when you really start looking for that talent who are really contributing and working and driving the organization, you'll find is a small percentage. So that's not a happy situation. You need to transform the consideration. I've tried to list it here: buying, building, borrowing, bounding, bouncing, and binding. Basically, what we're looking at, right from the first step that you recruit people, you should be conscious of what kind of people you need, what kind of knowledge base your people should have, and you start training them. You need to borrow knowledge, you need to create that environment that you are able to pass on that knowledge yourself, advisors, partners, whatever, but the knowledge is essential. You need to promote the right people to the key jobs. The more competent people must drive, the right person must drive the business or that activity. Bouncing, removing poor performance from their jobs and from the organization, we should not hesitate it. Public sector has traditionally been a problem. You can't say, you can't rate a person poor. We have seen in our organization also, if you say 90% gradings are excellent. So if the 90% people are performing, the organization must be at the highest level. So this objective assessment has to come in. We just can't keep on rating this thing. A very objective, correct, honest assessment, and then only if they're not performers, make all the efforts to convert them into performing people, but you cannot just keep on doing that also. You need to perhaps at some point in time say thank you also, and then binding, that is retaining the top talent. That's the primary I would say task, and more importantly in today's time it has become perhaps the most important. Next, please. Normal talent management process, these are the four steps. You acquire, you then recruit, you deploy them, you develop them, and you retain them. But what happens is that generally we concentrate only on two aspects. You recruit, the person has joined the company, and then you forget about that, and you say that he is to be there. We forget about the between two steps, the deploy and develop. To my mind, if we all concentrate on these two aspects, the purpose is served. You need not worry about the retaining part of that. We very often, people just try to concentrate on the recruitment. Oh, our job is done, he's there, he's with us, the good people are there, and then they forget and they say that okay, you pay them, you look after their welfare, this thing, and that's all. That is not the thing. You need to perhaps spend more time and energy in planning how do you deploy them, where you put the right place in the right place. The growth of person intellectually, knowledge base is what actually drives the individual. So we need to perhaps concentrate on deploy and develop. Next please. Only try to acquiring and retaining and not really on the two middle aspects. Next please. One of the studies done was that by a Center for Creative Leadership find that stretch assignments and daily interaction with others are far more important in development of successful executive than the formal training. Interactive process of developing people is much more through interactions, networking, actual this thing rather than normal formal classroom training. That would be one of the aspects of nurturing talent. Next please. The three things, as I said, that develop, deploy, and connection, the three things which generate the value actually transforms the people to more engaged people. Now, the terminology that we use is the people, if you have 1,000 people, the terminology we use is that some of them are engaged. That means they are just focused to work. Come what way, it is by their nature that they will just come work, whether a senior says or not. They are just focused to work. The others have to be perhaps provoked. Some have to be really pushed. And there's a category which we these days call actively disengaged. Come what way, they will not work. So these categories, the organizations need to be very clear what categories they are dealing with that. And again, the attempt has to be how do you transform all those four categories into engaged employees. If you have the engaged employees, you'll see that value creation coming in very, very in a clear form. Next, please. So that's how I've said that it's very important. If you develop people, if you deploy them in the right place, you are providing critical employees with the tools and conditions they need to build networks and enhance individual and organizational performance and improve the quality of their interactions with others. So that's how you want to transform them into engaged persons. This is a perception of HR. I think I'll come into later on, but if time permits, I'll move on to next. The concept of talent, I think that's very important. Over a period of time, we've been talking and debating on that. With time, the new concept has come, and that's what we call is talentship. Now, talentship, what is actually talentship? We need to just want to give you some details on that. Actually, talentship. To our understanding, talentship is one which is a sum of all your processes, systems that needs to be put together to create a mechanism that is an evolving system, and that is what is challenging actually. You can have a normal system of your policy framework, recruit, trade and all, but that doesn't work. You need to really work out evolved systems that captures this entire process that we talked about, that engaging them after recruitment, deploying them, developing them, engaging them, and then making them contribute through the commitments and developing that HR policy framework, HR processes, systems. It's some of all those things which would come into, next please, which would come into what we call it, defined as in the